down trees. They're putting up reindeers and singing songs of joy and peace. Oh, I wish I had a river I could skate away on. But it don't snow here, it stays pretty green. I'm gonna make a lot of money, then I'm gonna quit this crazy scene. I wish I had a river I could skate away on. I wish I had a river so long I would teach my feet to fly. Oh, I wish I had a river I could skate away on. I made my baby cry. He tried hard to help me, you know, he put me at ease. And he loved me so naughty, made me weak in the knees. Oh, I wish I had a river I could skate away on. I'm so hard to handle, I'm selfish and I'm sad. I've gone and lost the best baby that I ever had. Oh, I wish I had a river I could skate away on. I wish I had a river so long I would teach my feet to fly. Oh, I wish I had a river I could skate away on. I made my baby say goodbye. It's coming on Christmas, they're cutting down trees. They're putting up reindeer and singing songs of joy and peace. I wish I had a river I could skate away
Wow, that was an interesting arrangement. I think it's very different from the original version, and it has that countryside type of vibe that it reminds me of how much I miss being in Bohol Island. My family and I dream of living in Bohol, to be honest, and it still remains to be one of the most beautiful places on earth, not just in the Philippines.
Oh,
So I would really love to go back there.
yeah, that's a very old song. It's by Johnny Mitchell.
Hmm. Kuya, you seem very good with those trivias. I look forward to that and succeeding. Thank you very much. And of course, welcome back to our viewers. I remember from episode 10, we had a psychometrician as our guest back then. So she was involved in the medical field, but at the same time, she was very interested in music therapy, which means to say that she wanted to use both music and science as her way of healing patients through therapeutic means. So Today we have another guest who also belongs to the medical field. And from what I understand, he did take up medicine in college, but he did not really get the chance to practice it. And later on, we will know from his story as to why this happened. But anyhow, this special guest that we have today is known for being such a popular musician, and his music was able to span all across the world from Australia to Japan to South Korea to China and New Zealand. But before we introduce him to you guys, mabuhay and good evening. I am Sam.
Good afternoon to the other parts of the world. I'm Anton.
Good morning, Chào An. I'm Nina.
Welcome back, guys. And so, Kuya Anton, who is our guest today?
Okay, our guest for tonight's episode is a pop icon, hitmaker, legend, and tag as The Voice. On top of his successful singing career and medical profession, he heads now and number one, two companies that deal with the preservation and conservation of our environment through proper waste disposal and the manufacture and marketing of organic products. His singing career spans almost 4 decades. As a folk singer from 1971 to 1975, and then as one of the lead singers of the Family Birth Control Band that performed in the best night spots and hotels like Philippine Plaza, Holiday Inn, and Manila Hotel from 1975 to 1980. To hone his skills, he took up special voice training from the late Aurelio Estanislao, a well-known tenor singer and music voice professor at the University of the Philippines. With his clear baritone voice, he started to attract the attention of music buffs. His style and rendition of different songs, especially love songs, made him acquire a number of distinct awards like Best Pop Vocal Performer, Entertainer of the Year, and so many other awards for his very popular songs, which we will feature later on in the show. He was influenced by famous singers like Mario Lanza, Lou Rawls, Jack Jones, Ronnie Laws, Kenny Rankin, James Taylor, Earth, Wind and Fire, Basil Valdez, and Anthony Costello. But what struck me most with this life story is his experience with misadventures during his performances. While preparing a show, a bomb planted in the trash exploded, severely injuring his right leg, which had to be amputated later on. It was really a surprise for us because during that time, when we were in college, we heard a totally different story about that incident. But with perseverance and dedication to his work as a musician and a public servant, he was lifted up by with God's grace and surpasses all those trials and troubles by being a person with a good heart. So without further ado, Sam and Nina, our dear viewers, please welcome a very good friend with a very cool and soothing voice, also known as Dr. Zoo, Mr. Nonoy Zuniga.
Hello, Dr.
Hello.
Zoo.
Hello,
Welcome.
hello,
Hello.
hello,
Yes,
hello, Anton. Hello, Sam. Hello, Nina.
At last,
Glad
at
to be
last.
here.
hi. Yes. The first time that I saw you at this current stage in your life, Dr. Zoo, was when I watched Kuya Anton become your
Oh,
guest at Juno Radio. And that was when I became curious about your program and about the entire system that you're using, otherwise known as StreamYard, which I hope
Yes.
we would learn more about later on. So thank you so
hopefully.
much. Thank you so much for being part of this.
My pleasure.
Yes. Doctor, I was also surprised when Kuya Anton talked about you being an amputee because
Yeah.
of the incidents that occurred back in martial law. And here right now you are before us with your Christmas tree in the background, smiling all throughout. I would like to know, sir, how is it that you have such an optimistic view? And were you always this optimistic despite all the tribulations that you underwent?
Okay. Oh, since we were kids, my parents told us how to handle stress already. They always tell us or
Mm,
remind us that problems will always be there.
Mm.
So the only difference is how you handle a problem. You can be
mm,
stressed and handle the problem, and be not stressed while handling a problem.
mm,
So which one are you? So we choose
mm.
Mm.
not
You
stressed.
decide.
Yeah, you decide because
Wow.
and whatever your decision is, that will affect your system,
Yeah.
right? Even if
Right,
you handle
right.
all the problems, but you are stressed, you will look old
Mm.
Yeah.
and tired. Yes,
I hope
Ah,
I hope I
yeah,
so
am
that's
not.
your secret for looking young.
that's one. That's one. Yeah, because the problems are always there,
Yeah.
right?
Mm,
You, we
true.
cannot avoid a problem. It's either you go through it. If not, you go to the left, to the right. If
Mm.
not, you jump over it, go under it,
Mm. And leave it.
or go through it. Go. Pagain mo na, I mean, clash with it. Or
Yeah.
probably postpone it. Postpone it for another day. There's so many things how to solve it.
By the way, Dr. Zhu, I have friends who
Mm.
constantly talk to me about, feeling depressed or frustrated because of social
Oh, yeah.
distancing, because
Mm.
they feel so
Oh,
constricted now that they have limited activities to do with family and friends outdoors. So, what would be your particular advice to the youth? Because I think one of the major problems of millennials and Gen Zs nowadays is that many things come to
mm.
us in very convenient ways that we do not have the wisdom or the patience of older generations before us. So I think in this show, it would be very important that aside from music, what particular advice, sir, could you give to our young generation so that they know how to cope with the stress that they are experiencing, that we are experiencing right now?
Oh, first and foremost, it's easier said than done. Be patient. That's very
Mm,
easy to say. But for the Gen
true.
X or the millennials, it's hard for them to be patient. They're used to one push button and that's it, right?
Mm.
They're
Mm,
always in a hurry. They always want to solve things fast.
Mm.
And if they can't solve it, they become stressed.
mm,
So the best thing is to learn, open your minds and learn from your parents because the lives of your parents before are different now. Before we don't have cell phones,
Mm.
computers, etc., etc. What you have, we have to do. We go to the basic way of handling things. Or one parent said, for my grandson to learn, I'll drop him right inside the forest, and let's see if he survives.
oh my.
You know,
Forest talaga?
or and
Yes.
or what if tell you tell let's tell the younger generation, what if a pandemic happens and there's no electricity? What will you do? Everybody is back to the basics. Can you survive? Just water, no
Mhm.
electricity. So everybody will go back to the forest and work.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mahirapan sila. They will be hard. They definitely will be having a hard time. But
Yep.
that's the way to learn. So
Mm.
the millennials should ask and learn, open their minds and ask from their older ones, from their lolos, grandparents, and parents as well. Their experiences when there were no computers yet.
Yeah.
It's really patience and perseverance. Back to the basics.
Mm. And for them, that's
Mm.
the
Survival.
if it happens to them, it's the worst case scenario for them
Oh
already.
yes.
But for us, because of the experiences
Mm.
from our parents, we know something about their
Oh
past
yeah.
experiences.
Yes, I agree.
Uh,
Wow, thank you so much, guys. But of course, going back to music, to
Okay.
music and public service, since this is what your life is all about, Dr. Zhu, I would just like to know which actually came first. Was it your passion for music or your ardent desire for medicine? And how do those two fields complement each other?
At a very early age, music came first because, I started very young. My parents, they love music. They always listen to the records, the phonograph, the
Mm.
vinyls. Yeah,
Mm,
they always listen.
mm,
Every day there's music in the house. So I grew up, I learned music from them, from the music that they were listening to. I would even embrace the phonograph and sleep while listening to the music. Yeah.
So it's a big one. It's a big phonograph.
Yeah, it's a big phonograph with a cover. I cover it and then stay on top of it and listen and sleep. So and then my mom is a graduated as a pharmacist. My dad is a doctor. So
Mm.
somehow my dad influenced me. We have a clinic at home, and I can see his patients, how he treats them, and the patients get well. So I kind of developed that thing for helping people. It's a nice feeling if you help somebody, ease their discomfort, treat their illnesses. It's nice. So that's, and again, another thing that I developed. But music came in first at that very early age.
mm,
And then as we go through school, grade school, I joined a choir. And then in college, I also joined a choir for a while. But this is also the time when I went into folk singing. I was 15 or 14 or yeah, very early age. And then I was already working at that age in one of the folk houses in Ermita. My father's mustache. That's
Oh,
one of
oh,
I know that.
yeah.
I see. Oh,
I was
how
15,
do you know
14,
that,
15.
Kuya?
I just know it.
Okay, okay.
I don't need to say the
To
year.
elaborate.
He just knows
I
it. Yeah,
respect that, Kuya.
it's a very
Right.
popular
Yes,
folk
yes.
house. It's one of the
Mm,
pioneers as a folk house.
I don't need to Google it.
mm,
It's here.
Yeah, after folk singing, I joined the band, the Family Birth Control Band. And
mm.
for 5 years, we were singing every night in the best hotels and nightclubs at that time. And then an incident happened that stopped my
Mm.
singing, my singing with the band. And then I went enrolled in medicine, and that's the time when I also started my recording career. As Nonoy Zuniga. That one. Then the rest is history.
During college, you're already
Singing,
professionally singing, right?
yes, as a folk singer,
Mm.
and at the band every night. It was my routine. I lacked sleep, but
Mm.
I enjoyed what I'm doing because you're earning, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
You're earning, and when
Yes,
you earn,
yes.
you put yourself into college. You help also the
Mm-hmm.
family. It's a nice feeling because you help your parents. Hindi na
Uh,
sila, they don't spend
Mm.
anymore for your education. It's already you.
you support yourself.
Your well, yeah, you support yourself,
Mm.
your food, transportation, everything.
But Dr. Zhu, how
Mm.
come you were not able to practice medicine anymore?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question because I was at the crossroads that time
Mhm.
and choosing uh, going to mainstream medicine and to mainstream music. That time, when the song became very, very popular, my first hit, Doon Lang, a lot of offers came in, including to do shows abroad. So I just said, I don't want to miss that opportunity. So I went abroad. My eventually my being in med school suffered, but I was able to juggle my time in between and finish it. Just to finish it, get my diploma. That's okay. At least you're still a doctor, but
Yeah.
you cannot practice. I can treat if they want. So
Mm.
so that's what happened. I don't know. If you were in my place, you would also do the same thing. You going to
One,
miss going
Mm.
abroad or just
one.
continue your medicine? Uh, you know. medicine
Oh,
is expensive. But
and it
if you
takes
lack
such a
funds,
long time.
yeah. And I cannot anymore
Mm,
study and work at the same time in medicine.
mm,
Mm,
One has to suffer,
mm,
yeah.
and I let
mm,
my education suffer for a bit,
mm.
Because
because
it,
the earnings are there already.
yeah.
It's on the plate. You want to eat it? It was given to you
Mm.
here. Get it.
And and it's
You have
Right.
that
once
opportunity.
in a
Yeah.
lifetime opportunity
Oh yeah,
going
and that,
different places.
So, what do you think, Kuya Anton?
Yeah, well, I believe that is something we both share in common. I'm also dedicated to public service,
yeah.
which
Okay.
I've been serving through the church for as long as I could remember, and it's truly made my life so much more meaningful. And during my high school days, I started with my church service also as a choir until my college days, and even with my regular work, I still managed to serve during Sundays. Throughout the past couple of years, how has your music grown and matured? And how did you find time performing music here and abroad despite having a busy work schedule as a public servant also? Because you hosted a public service show, right,
Yeah.
Doc Nonoy?
It's really difficult that time. One has to give way. When another offer came, you have to adjust things. Like for instance, I was not a regular student in med school. I stopped for 1 year, then the following year go back with half a load of units. I don't get the full load because it's
Mm,
30 plus to 40 plus units one semester. That's too low. That's too full. So
mm,
I half it, and then I can still go abroad in Asia, then come back that weekend, same weekend, without being absent. Anyway, it's just overnight. So I really enjoyed that time. It's a matter of really balancing on that time which one weighs heavier, which will
mm,
suit you better
mhm.
on that time. It's always the singing because you earned.
But you
Yeah.
devoted also your time with Kapwa Ko Mahal Ko, right?
Oh yes, with kapwa ko. And then when that time came, I was not in school that time when
Mm,
kapwa ko makahal ko invited me over. Yeah, and then but I was able to go back to med school the following year and be with kapwa ko mahal ko. 7 years I was with them. I even served the government as a director of an agency handling the concerns of persons with disabilities. I was pretty busy that time. And also, I really wanted the experience also, how it is in public service,
mm.
how it is also serving in a private company.
Basically, what have you learned from them, from dealing with them, Dr. Zoo?
Oh, we have, during my period as a director of that agency, we had formulated a Magna Carta for the disabled. In
Mm,
that Magna Carta, you have the rights and the privileges of the persons with disabilities. So if you have that, if a disabled person has that, he has to have that to know the law, you
Mm,
know, because
mm,
that Magna Carta deals with equality in terms of law, labor, and living.
mm,
mm,
It's also a guide for government agencies.
mm,
And it has benefits. The law also gives benefits to those government agencies who support, the persons with disabilities. For example, if they hire blind people
mm,
to operate their computers, that agency will receive a 10% discount or tax-free. It encourages more companies to hire
mm.
persons with disabilities.
Oh, by the way, Dr. Zoo, we've talked a lot about your public service just now, but going back to your music,
Mm.
I believe you prepared a musical performance for us today. Could you
Really?
please tell us something
yeah,
about it?
Yes, don't laugh.
yeah.
That song actually, this is a trivia. That song actually was not composed for me. It
Mm.
was already recorded by a known singer. I won't mention his name anymore,
Oh,
but something happened with that singer and the recording company. So they parted ways.
oh.
When I entered that company, that song was given to me. So I think that song was really for me. You know, and it has a nice message. It has a nice
Yeah,
message
yeah.
for those who are out of school. So it's a composition by the late Willie Cruz.
What does it say about the out of school youth, Dr. Zhu? Especially for our foreign listeners out there
Mhm.
who may not understand Tagalog, what do the words mean?
And somehow it indirectly tells the it indirectly tells the out of school youth that if you don't finish your studies, you will just be staying at home dreaming of things. Indirectly saying, go to school.
Okay, well, let's see it.
Kung natapos ko ang aking pag-aaral, di sana'y mayroon na akong dangal na ihaharap sa'yo at ipagyayabang. Sa panaginip lang ako may pagdiriwang. Yaman at katanyagan sa akin ay wala. Kakisigan ko ay bunga ng isang sumpa. Ang aking inay ang tangi kong tagahanga. Sa panaginip lang ako may nagagawa. Doon ay kaya kong ipunin lahat ng bituin. Doon ay kaya kong igapos ihip ng hangin. Doon ay kaya kong pagbawal buhos ng ulan. Sa panaginip lang kita nahahagkan tuwina. Doon lang. Kundi dahil sa barkada ay tapos ko na ang pag-aaral na nagbibigay ng halaga. Sa awitin kong ito mo lang madarama mga pangarap kong walang pangangamba. Doon ay kaya kong ipunin lahat ng bituin. Doon ay kaya kong igapos ihip ng hangin. Doon ay kaya kong pagbawal buhos ng ulan. Sa panaginip lang kita nahahagkan tuwina. Doon lang, doon ay kaya kong ipunin lahat ng bituin. Doon ay kaya kong igapos ihip ng hangin. Doon ay kaya kong pagbawal buhos ng ulan. Sa panaginip lang kita nahahagkan tuwina. Doon lang. Sa panaginip lang kita nahahagkan tuwina. Doon lang. Doon lang.
Oh,
Yes.
beautiful. What do
Doon
you
lang.
think, Nina?
I'm just in so much in awe. Thank you, Dr. Zhu, for such heartwarming music, right? And although I did not understand the words, but still I could understand the feeling. And thank you for, indeed, I think it was really a gift from God for you to have that number one hit, right? And inspire
It is.
people, right? It was meant for you. So I just say thank you once again, right? So I just talking on previously on episode 14, we met with Alyssa and we talked about the importance of being holistic and that being a science major or arts major doesn't mean that we should only focus on one type of particular subject, right? And Nonoy is another example of this too, right? With medicine and music. I believe that God permitted you your success, right? In that you may show the world your freedom to explore multiple sources of passion and the way we want to serve people, right? So listening to you now, I that you're a top artist and also a host of Juno Radio. In fact, as I said, I also watched that episode where Kuya Anton was there. So congratulations once again. And what really inspired me was hearing your story about how the bomb just took off your leg. So I was saying that, and right at the beginning, how you're never can die spirit. You can say with your Christmas tree and always being young and cheery, and your philosophy about life. So it's whether you want to be a lemon or you make lemonade. How you adjust that. So you want to be stressed
Yeah.
or not be stressed. So I'm very happy that this came out, because during the pandemic, people will say, I'm depressed, I'm this, I'm that. But then you can look at it another way, as I've shared before. If you're being depressed, as artistic people, we can use this as art material for our next movie or for our next novel, right? And as Dr. Zhu said, you can make money. Money is given on a platter to you, and if people love your story, you become famous. So I mean, how do we look at things? So it's indeed very inspiring that
Wonderful.
there's no right or wrong. It's the cup is either half empty or half full, right? So thank you for sharing that with all the younger viewers. And Sam, I wanted to say that don't worry about procrastination. God has His own timing. So we also, at our age, we also, when we were young, we also lost and had many dreams.
Mhm.
I don't know whether we fulfilled all our dreams, but I think the most important thing is that we keep on going day by day, right? Trying to achieve something better. So I think we encourage each other. I think that's the most important thing. And I think through our music, we inspire. So I'm very, very thankful that, when I came back from my music scholarship, I had to serve as a public servant, in that I had to teach. I had to teach in a neighborhood school, and music and English, right? So in fact, many of my students, they were much taller than me, and then they were really not interested in learning about music. But I said, hey, let's enjoy this 40 minutes, and it's either me uh, uh, you know teaching you, or we see discipline master. So they said, oh, okay, Che, we won't give you any trouble, right? Because the discipline master will believe me and not them. So I think in my small way, I probably imparted, I hope, some music or some English to their lives, right? So that was my small contribution. And then currently also I serve in the praise and worship team since 2016 for my church of
Mm.
St. Ignatius. So the Lord has His way. Many, and as I said, we went for the Catholic renewal and camp, and with the Archbishop, 5 days with the Archbishop in November 2015. And from there, things have never looked back. Right? He plans things step by step, and I hope that one day I will be involved in doing a concert with people who are disabled, and that music is not exclusive, but
Yeah.
but inclusive. So thank you so
Universal.
much, right, for this. And I think it's God meant that we are in this episode and talking to you, Dr. Zhu, right, for being such an inspiration and in the Philippines, right? So thank you, Kuya Anton. Thank you, Sam. Right? Yes, it's so wonderful
Thank you,
because
Nina.
yeah, because you're all in the Philippines, and Dr. Zhu is so famous for us. I don't know his fame, but I'm humbled at his attitude and his philosophy. So I just want to ask you your next question, right?
Oh,
Are you ready, Nanai? Right? Ah, And our next question is, we would like to know what makes OPM music so special and unique than those of other countries.
Well, like other countries, they have their own music. Uh, in the Philippines, it's called original Filipino music. It's
Mhm.
actually pop music. And when you say Filipino pop music, it's a mixture of or a combination of music from the West, from different, from Asia, and you combine the melody and put the Filipino lyrics, and that's an OPM.
Yes.
It's like our blood. Filipino blood is a mixture.
Mhm.
I have
Correct.
Chinese.
Yes.
I have
Oh,
Chinese blood. Little, yeah,
Oh,
25%.
I didn't know that.
25,
Ooh,
25,
so
just
that
oh,
25%.
explains the eyes.
Yes, just 25%.
oh,
My grandmother's side.
Mhm.
Yeah,
oh.
Spanish blood, grandfather's side.
Ah,
That's it. That's a mixture. So, like the Filipino blood, the music is also a mixture.
From different,
That makes it unique.
yeah.
yes. Yeah. All the mix of all the different races and the different
Yeah.
feelings and philosophies. So, right, it becomes uniquely Filipino, right?
Mhm. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And the last question,
Yep.
and after having performed music numerous times and hosting both informal programs and programs for public service, what meaningful ventures would you like to pursue in the future?
Well, with this pandemic, of course, everybody was affected by this pandemic. Our economy or the world's economy had to stop or slow down, right? And a lot of millions of people lost their jobs, and that includes myself because you cannot perform anymore.
Mhm.
So right now, the trend now is online. If you can do or get a job online, do it. So that's why we have a weekly online show. It's a Juno Radio. It's going on for 5 months already,
Mhm.
although we don't have sponsors yet. But God willing, sponsors will come in after a while. We don't know when, but that show, online show, will go on. So that's one online, and then do a business again when it's safe enough to go out, because right now it's really dangerous. It's still is dangerous. You cannot do what you really like to do. I guess everything is just planned. Everything is just planned, and then for execution once the pandemic is over.
Mhm.
Thank you so
Wow, thank
much.
you
Yes,
so
yeah.
much. Dr. Zhu, again, I would like to commend the way you're talking to us because, while you're talking about all these difficult times that we are experiencing as a people, here you are, slumped on your chair, smiling, explaining to us all these realistic struggles, and it's very encouraging, sir. So thank you very much for like Nina said, thank you so much for being so cheery. And I hope that this is something that the youth that I and many others could learn from eventually.
One
Yes,
thing
sir.
also that I learned is that being happy is a choice, or else you'll die slowly. Who wants to die? I don't like.
Not yet, not yet.
That's true.
Not yet, not yet. So we have to be happy,
Yeah,
cheerful.
Yes.
And
right.
we need to do something for others so we can be happy
Yes.
Yeah.
also.
Yeah.
When we make others happy, we become happy, right?
Yeah. It's an
Yeah.
automatic thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
And
To be
inspire.
other centered, huh? Yes, other
Yes,
centered
yes.
and be of service. Because when you just so absorbed with yourself, it's always yourself. You feel miserable, but you think
Yeah.
of others because there are others. Every time we hear how many father always says there are others worse off, right?
Mhm.
So when you serve, you offer even something as small as a bright smile or an encouraging word. It helps
Mhm.
another person, and
Yeah.
you never know where it all goes, right? That's so definitely to encourage everybody, help another neighbor, help another person, be of good cheer, right? And for Christmas is coming, and
Mhm.
Lord is here.
Well said, Nina.
Mm. Yes. Amen. Amen to that. Definitely. Thank you, Nina.
Yeah.
So, yes, to all our viewers out there, so you've heard it from the best here from Dr. Zoo and our hosts today. Please use this predicament, this ongoing pandemic, as a moment of self reflection. Please use it to hone your gifts, to hone your skills, and not to feel sorry for yourselves. If you are currently unemployed, as Dr. Zoo said earlier, find ways. We have e commerce, and you have connections, you have family and friends who would be there to support you. And of course, let us not forget our main boss from above watching over us all this time. God is always there watching over us. So please remember that during these difficult times.
The CEO is up there.
Yes.
CEO.
Yeah.
The CEO.
Yes. So thank you so much again. That will be all for today. So thank you, Dr. Zoo, for sharing
Thank you
this
very much.
wonderful gift of music
My
and
pleasure to be
wisdom.
here. Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you for
Right.
your program.
Thank
Your program
you.
is an instrument to inspire and encourage others.
God bless you all. God bless all our viewers and listeners tonight. And again, we will see you next week. So, once again, this is Sam.
This is Anton. Take care. Take care, everyone.
And this is Nina. Stay safe, everyone, and God bless.
Night after night, we are together, sharing lovely moments that spell forever. Day after day, our love gets stronger, growing every minute that we get closer. If we ever have to say goodbye and go our own separate ways, I wouldn't know how to get by on my own. After all, the love and passion you have shown, I'll never say goodbye, no matter they try. Show me love won't last if we're prisoners caught in our past. Don't let your tears run dry. No need for you to cry. I promise I will stay. I'm with you all the way. In time, they'll soon forget that you and I once met. As long as deep inside I know it's love now, then I will never say goodbye.
have this online show, weekly show. It's every Saturday, 11 in the morning, Philippine time. Okay, it's on YouTube and Facebook. It's called Juno Radio. Juno,
Mm.
Juno Radio. Facebook and YouTube, 11 in the morning, Saturdays. But in the US, it's Fridays,
Mm.
7 p.m. or in the evening.
Okay.
Okay, so don't miss it. I also have a YouTube channel.
Mm.
It's called Nonoy Zuniga Official. The word
Okay.
Oh,
official has to be there.
Okay.
All my
Yeah.
songs,
correct,
all my
correct.
covers are there. If you want to hear more cover songs, it's all there.